crafty friends, welcome to my new video. So this is a project share for the new ScrapDiva Design collection for August, and it's the bee theme, and I've been using her paper collection also, Be Happy, and I've really enjoyed playing with this collection and theme. So first of all, this is the first die that I've used, and it is the bee bag topper. And I will tag everything down below for you with links. And these are what I've made. So we've got this one, and then I've added a little dangle on that says bee. And then this is the other little cutie. And then I've put buzz on this one. Then the next one is one of the word sets, and this is Be Words Set 2. So in this one we've got sweet, we've got believe in yourself, we've got be wild, be yourself, and be happy. Now I've used some of these on some of the projects, so I've only got a couple left to show you. So this is the first one, be happy, be yourself, believe in yourself, and then this one I've added one of the little bees instead of the actual word, and this is one of the other ScrapDiva design collections. So that is all using the word set 2. So then, keeping with the theme of the words, this is Be Word Set 1. So in this one we've got beautiful, be kind, be yourself, queen bee, and be mine. And for these I've used a glitter foam and some pink paper. And this one I haven't put the outside line on, just to show you that you can use both. So we've got that one, there's a be kind. And I love the little hearts they've got on tops of the eyes. Beautiful. Be mine. And lastly, honey. And I'll point out as well where I've used some of the other ones. So this is the next die, and this is the honeycomb. And for these, I've made 2 little shakers. So I've made this one, and I've added the little flower that also comes in that die set, and another one of those little bees. And then that's one of the leaves as well that I've just inked around the edges. And then this is one of the other ones, and I've used some of the ephemera on this from the collection, and one of the cute little bees. I love these cute bees, they are so beautiful. And so this one I've just used some clear acetate, and then on this one I've used some clear acetate on the front, and then I've used some vellum on the back, and then I've just added some seed beads and then some little bee clay pieces that I've got. I just see one there. So they're really cute. You can use them on their own, or you can add them to your embellishments. So next we've got the stamp set. So it's Be Happy stamps. And then for those, I've used one of the other ScrapDiva Designs dies, which is this one. And I've made some of these little round embellishments, and then I've added some thread at the back, and then I've coloured this one in. So we've got that one. There's this one. And there's this one. On this one I've added another one of those bees, and then some Nuvo drops. And then this one. And then, so these bees that I've been using as little add-ons is from this die. And this is the stitched bee set. So these are such a great little addition to your projects. And then, so obviously I've used some on here, I've used some on here, and you get 2 different sizes. So that's the big size, and then that's the little size. And you will see them on some of my other projects as well. And then I've also used this stitch die. And I've made this chocolate box. So I've stitched the background. So this is also using some of the paper from the Be Happy collection, and then some of the ephemera, and there's another one of those cute little bees, and then I've made a bottle top again with one of the ephemera, sorry, not the ephemera, the paper, the pattern paper. And then also, whoever knows me, I love adding these little cards in my Happy Mails. So I've made 4 little cards. So again, I've used those bees and then the stitch at the back. So there's that one, and then there's this one. So I've done these ones in a yellow paper, and then these ones have got like a gold. And then these are the 2 different stitches that you get. So this one's a bigger stitch, and then these are smaller. And then for the other 2, I've used some of the ephemera from the pack. And then this one is one of the chipboard stickers. And then just some of the ephemera at the back there. Talking of those cute little bees, this is the die set, and of course it's called Cute Bees. And you've obviously seen them crop up on some of my projects already. So these are them. So you get 3 different sizes. So there's a medium, a small, and a large. And I just love the little faces. So some of them I've put little cheeks and eyelashes, and then others I've just left blank, and then I've propped them all up on foam. And then, so these ones I've used white paper, and then I've also done some with a vellum wing. And then this one is using some of the paper from the collection as well. I think they're so cute. So cute. So next is this die, and I absolutely love this die. Oh, upside down bit. So this is the library card pocket. And again, I've made 4 of these. So this is the first one. So again, I've used one of those little bees and one of those words from the bee die set number 2. And then that is just the library pocket, and then this is some of the paper from the collection. So that's the one I've made. And there's this one. So it's one of the little buttons from the collection. I do love these. Some of the ephemera, and then there's one of those stamps again. And what I've done is I've embossed the stamps with a clear embossing powder to give them that little raised effect, and then I've coloured them in. And then I've put a backing on there as well. Again, this is the paper from the collection. We then have this one. Again, I've stamped and embossed the card. And then this is a blue set. And again, I've used the ephemera from the collection. And then the last little card pocket that I've made is this one. This has got a little bit of a floral theme. Again, one of those buttons. And these are some of the tags that come with the collection. And then that's the backing. Also, throughout this project, I've used these flowers. So these are the fringed flower number 2, and I will show you those shortly. Also, to show off some of the beautiful collection, I've also put together some rosettes. So I've put together this rosette, so I've used the patterned paper that comes with the collection. There's that cute little bee and some of the ephemera. So there's that one, then there's this one, again with one of those buttons on. I've even used some of the honeycomb there at the back, and some of the ephemera on there. And then last but not least, there's this one. Again, I've used some of the ephemera, and this is the flower die from the oval frame from last month's collection. And then I've got one of those little tiny wooden bees. And then just a couple more to show off how beautiful the collection is. I've made these chocolate wrappers. So I've made this one, again with one of those cute little bees on. And I've even added some clear Nuvo drops to the wings and the antennae on these ones. So there's that one, and then there's that one. So this is one of those flowers, the fringed flower. Again, one of the flowers from last month's collection, and the bee. I've then made one of those library pockets into a little clipboard, and then you can obviously use those to back some of your smaller embellishments. I've then used the clipboard die, and I've made this, and I've made a working paper clip, bulldog clip. So I've just took one of those bulldog clips and I've just stuck these on, and then it just clips on. And then I've embellished it with pencil from the collection, one of the ephemeras, and the honeycomb. And then for this, I've turned this into a little pocket that you can put stuff in, put goodies or ephemera in. So that's that one. And then to show off again some of the paper, I've used another old ScrapDiva die, the same one as previously, but I've made 4 of them, and I've loaded them on using a ring. So on this one, we've got some of the ephemera. Then we've got this one where I've used some of the ephemera and one of those little buttons. And this is the next one. I've used one of those flowers, and again some of the ephemera, and then this is one of the chipboard stickers, and I've used a little wooden bee on that one. And then last but not least, I've made this back one, and again I've made this into a little pocket, and I've used the stamp and some of the ephemera pieces from the collection, and it's just housing some of those little tags that you also get on the paper collection. And then I've just added a cute little dangle tassel on that I made. And moving on to the last die in the bee theme collection that I've had, and this is the Honey Pot mini album. This was super fun to put together, and I've made 2 things using this one. So firstly, I've made this, and this is just a large embellishment. I've used the fringed flower die from this collection, and I've made a little bottle top, cute little bees, and this is another one of the word dies from the number 2 bee words. And then on this one, I've put a little wobble, a little wobbler on the top, so the bee looks like it's flying. I just thought it was super cool. And again, I've used some of the honeycomb from the honeycomb die set, and then that's another one of the flowers also from the honeycomb die set. and then there is some of the little pieces of ephemera at the back. So that's that one. I do love this little wobble. And then last but not least, I've made a little mini album and I've added this tassel on the front. So this is the front of my mini album. Again, I've used another one of the words and I've added the bee on again. Again, I've got another little bees and the honeycomb, some of the ephemera and these flowers. This is two different ways you can do the flowers. So these are going upwards and these are down. And then all I've done then is I've just made it into a mini album. So this is the second page. I've made another one of those little clipboard embellishments, and I've just put a little tuck pocket in. So I've used the band from the honey pot and glued it on the sides just to make that little tuck spot. Then I've got a couple of blank ones, and then this one's got a pocket. Again, there's some more of those tags, and then again the last pocket, the last page is blank. So that is everything that I've made using the Be Happy paper collection that I was given, and also the bee theme dies. I hope you've really enjoyed watching what I've made. I've super loved putting this little bee collection together. Comment down below which is your favourite, and have a lovely crafty day, and goodbye for now.